Hello, hello.
Okie dokie, artichoke.
Look, we're both gray today.
Nice. I'm a little less violent.
Yeah, a little less violent than the robbing squirrel.
All right, we are here, and today is officially the halfway mark of April. We are on April 15th.
Mm-hmm.
It's tax day.
Mm-hmm.
And the name of today's entry is Pay Your Taxes.
Mm-hmm.
Except for this year, because we got an extension.
It's my dad's birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Uncle.
All right, so Seneca has a quote for us today. Nothing will ever befall me that I will receive with gloom or a bad disposition. I will pay my taxes gladly. Now all the things which cause complaint or dread are like the taxes of life, things from which, my dear Lucilius, you should never hope for exemption or seek escape.
Mm-hmm. So it's funny because it's on a tax day, so they talking about taxes, right? Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, like paying the tax like willingly, and not just tax in the way like we paying taxes, but like tax in the sense of like there's cost to things, you know, like relationship have cost. You know, different things have different, almost like a tax, and it's like we don't want to, you know, it's like taxes, like people don't want to pay taxes, like, right, like they're like, I don't want to do it, but it's like he's like, no, do it willingly, and not only to the government but also in, you know, interactions with people or relationships with other people or something like that, you know, like there's some tax is like a cost or something, right?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Well, he's saying like taxes, anything that causes complaint or dread.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's basically anything I don't like, anything I don't want to do.
Yeah.
That's a tax.
Yeah.
Francis would say that's a yoga exercise. And so he's saying, not only should I receive that without gloom or a bad disposition, but I should never hope for exemption or seek escape from it.
Right.
I should never think to myself, oh, life should be free from taxes. Life should be free from these kind of bad, rub you the wrong way type of situations. And that's such an easy mindset for me to fall back into, is thinking that anything bad that happens is sort of like a mistake in the game, and that I could somehow play the game in such a way that I could wipe away all of the taxes, all of the mistakes, and so forth. And this is a reminder that that's just not how the game is. The game has taxes within it, so pay them gladly. Why would you wish for something to be removed from the game that's intrinsically a part of the game that can never be separated from it?
Yeah, there's some sort of like a like a side thing that we're like looking for this perfect like this perfect scenarios, like experiencing perfect scenarios back to back, right? And it's like, well, like look how we're looking at everything. Like we, you know, if something is broken, we want to improve it, we want to make it better. So there's this drive to make things better, and because of that drive, the side effect of that is we
wish things were already better.
We wish that things are already better, or we're trying to say, well, we are trying to achieve a state of where there are no issues. It's already better.
Yeah.
right? And so when something is not going the right way, we go like, this is supposed to already be better. Come on. So there's this like, in one way, like there's this chase of like continuous improvement with everything, but then there's this kind of a thing there that's misunderstood, that things are already supposed to be improved, and if you improve something, that means no more improvements are coming in that realm or in anywhere else. No, that's just another step or something, and like thinking that life will be without these scenarios where improvement needs to happen. I mean, that's all it is, almost.
Right.
Yeah.
Like life is a process.
Life is a process.
It's not it's never a destination or a finished state. And so the taxes are even a reminder that this is something that's just continually happening. It's part of the process of the whole thing.
Yeah.
And so like, why would I waste my energy on hating an aspect of a process that I can't change? Like, I can't change the fact that life has taxes.
Right.
So I may as well get on board with the fact that it does and live my life in a process-oriented way rather than in this trying to get to this final destination of no more problems, happy all the time, this sort of weird idealized thing that I confess like does enter my mind when I get pissed off about life not being a certain way right now.
Mm-hmm.
Not being how I want it to be.
Yeah, great. You want to see what Ryan's got for us today?
Yeah, and thank you, Seneca, because I needed to hear this today. As your income taxes come due, you might be like many people, complaining at what you have to fork over to the government. 40% of everything I make goes to these people, and for what? First off, taxes go to a lot of programs and services you almost certainly take for granted. Second, you think you're so special? People have been complaining about their taxes for thousands of years, and now they're dead. Get over it. Third, this is a good problem to have. Far better than, say, making so little there is nothing left to pay the government, or living in an anarchy and having to pay for every basic service in a struggle against nature. But more important, income taxes are not the only taxes you pay in life. They are just the financial form. Everything we do has a toll attached to it. Waiting around is a tax on traveling. Rumors and gossip are the taxes that come from acquiring a public persona. Disagreements and occasional frustration are taxes placed on even the happiest of relationships. Theft is a tax on abundance and having things that other people want. Stress and problems are tariffs that come attached to success, and on and on and on. There are many forms of taxes in life. You can argue with them. You can go to great but ultimately futile lengths to evade them, or you can simply pay them and enjoy the fruits of what you get to keep.
And on and on and on.
Ryan, we hear Robert Greene in you.
That's sweet.
Yeah, I like that he really hits home on like this, you're not going to be able to opt out of it. So if you can't opt out of it, whatever you're complaining about right now, sure, maybe that complaint could be rectified, could be solved in some way. But the reality that solves that complaint produces at least one other in its place. And so there's just like no bargaining or arguing my way out of the stuff I don't like. It just is part of the whole thing.
And it's interesting because the difference between the financial taxes versus the other category of taxes, right?
Mm-hmm.
From like whatever you want to call it, like other life taxes. like it's interesting how the financial taxes, the system tells us, if you don't pay for this, you will be in trouble. Continuously we get reminded of this, right?
Mm-hmm.
But no one is reminding us about the other taxes. That if we don't pay for them, if we try to avoid them, and if we don't pay them, we will be in trouble. There's no reminder of that. And so it's like, it seems like we need to remind ourselves to say, let's say you're holding a grudge with someone, right? There is a tax that you're paying.
Yeah.
Right? And so now you're saying like, hey, if I don't want to be paying it and I have maybe an option to not to pay it, how? Bury the hatchet, right? And now you're not paying that tax anymore. And so it's like we're managing our financial taxes all the time. We have experts at the end of the year to go through our every single little thing that we've spent. But on the other taxes, no one goes through them. No one goes through audit to figure out, hey, where have you spent all of your time and all of your energy on these stupid ideas, on these stupid things, right? Versus spending them the right way with the right people about the right things, right? So it's kind of like, it's interesting how much we pay attention to the financial taxes and how little we pay attention to the rest of the life taxes.
I was totally with you up until just like one point, and then I got myself like really confused, where it was like going through them to see like, where am I spending time? Mm-hmm. Like, can you like share?
Well, let's say you have a family member you're no longer talking to, right? And you're thinking that that's out of your life, and therefore you're not paying that tax, right? So you're not paying attention to it. Versus looking at it and saying, where am I paying those taxes? Oh, I'm paying it. Or let's say you're spending time with someone you don't want to spend time with, or it's bothering you, and it's like, hey, it's exhausting you or something, right? But you continue to do it. So you consciously know that you're paying taxes there, and it's maybe not worth it or something. You know what I mean? So it's like you keep doing something that you're not thinking about that it's costing you something.
Yeah.
Or you're not doing something thinking that it's not costing you something.
Well, you might be doing something else in its place. Like, for example, you might avoid working out and instead sitting on the couch. And there's a price to sitting on the couch. You pay a tax for that.
Yeah.
With like lower physical, mental well-being.
Sure. That's a good metaphor. Sitting on the couch.
Or just example of like putting
you're paying tax for sitting on the couch. But if you're going into a gym, you're paying tax for going to the gym, right? And it's a good tax. That's a good way to spend that tax money. Either way, you're spending it. When I say money, I mean you're paying something, right? So what are you paying? Like effort or value or whatever you want to call it, right?
Right, like maybe going to the gym is like you are putting forth the effort of getting there and getting through the actual workout, and that's the tax. That's like the cost that you pay for getting in the workout, for getting a good workout.
Yeah, and you get maybe like that's kind of like a tax break, let's say, versus if you want to look at it that way, like it's the positive thing, right? The tax is going towards something positive or something, like you're getting something out of it, versus the other stuff is like you're not getting things out of your money, your tax money is going towards something that is not valuable for you. You're wasting it.
Yeah, I'm like trying to pull this into something that I can use, that I can, that like really makes sense to me on a deep level. So, Like the way I'm seeing it is like there's a cost to everything. However I choose to spend my time, there is a cost associated with that. There might be the cost of doing one thing instead of another, so I have to say no to something else, and that's the price that I pay for saying yes to this one thing. It might be consequences, negative consequences downstream. And so this tax metaphor is kind of breaking for me, honestly, in like some of these areas, and like I need to be able to follow an analogy like all the way through in order for it to like really like do something for me. So like this one, I'm like following part of it, and then part of it just like blowing my head off, honestly. So yeah, I'm just like
no, but so far what you're saying is that's it. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. I feel very still fuzzy about it, but yeah, okay.
Well, what
however I choose to spend my time, there's a cost, and I need to evaluate that cost and to see that cost clearly. I think that's something I can.
Yeah, it's almost like we're shifting into the action level, like what to do, right? Well, imagine that you have control over how you spend that, right? Spend your time, or how you spend your energy with this or that, right? So you have to spend the time and energy with something, right? So now it's almost like having a choice to where you want your taxes to go, right? You can say, I rather allocate them towards this versus towards that.
Cool. Well, yeah, good thing. Like these metaphors, they always kind of go off the rails for me a little bit.
Taxes are like, weird because there's taxes, the financial taxes, and then there's the energy, life force or something tax, right? That we're spending on. That just continuously is being spent, right? Like
the way that Seneca is talking about it is like just things that you don't like things that you're complaining about, things that it's like the yoga exercises from Francis. Like I really made that connection with the Seneca quote. And then Ryan sort of also took it into this other place, and then you took it into this other place. So I'm gonna go pay my taxes. This conversation was a tax.
Yeah, it's all tax every moment, yeah.
Yeah, all right, let's wrap it
up. There's some value exchange for everything.
Crazy.